From the Green Room Studios at Bates Nursery in Nashville, Tennessee, it's Gardening Inside Out, a podcast with highlights from our Saturday morning live show, answering all your gardening questions, giving you plant advice for any space in your life. Let's start the show.
Hey, y'all. It's Caroline Gant.
Hey, y'all. Austin Lowen.
And Tyler Blankenship.
Back.
Yeah, it's so good to have you back.
Yeah, you're back. You weren't here for our show this last week.
I wasn't. I was not here for it, and I have not edited it yet, so I have no idea
what we all said.
what you all said.
We had our...
It was a Father's Day extravaganza, I guess.
It was. Yep, everyone's sitting there.
Fathers of the Round Table, isn't that what you said, Austin?
I don't know if I said
Something
that.
like
I think
that.
David may have said that, yeah. But no, our GM, Adam Chapman, been here for like 24 years. He sat in for Caroline. He did a great job.
Nice. I can't wait to listen.
Yeah, it was a good one. I brought in zinnias.
That you love.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, not that I love them, but you love them, and you were gone and not here, so we had to have a little bit of Caroline in the room, so I brought him in.
Nice.
You'll
Yeah,
hear
he
that on the
thought of
show.
you.
So you were in northern Michigan,
I was in northern Michigan.
the cherry capital of the United States.
I ate a lot of cherries. It was great.
Were
You
they
did?
really good?
They were so good.
That's what I've heard. Mm-hmm. My parents
did.
a few years ago went to Traverse City, which is like close to where you
That's
were.
close, yeah.
Yeah, and they just raved about the cherry. They had like a cherry festival up there.
Yeah, there were some cherry shops, but I didn't have time to go buy any of them because I was going to get you guys some cherries, but
Well, thanks.
I didn't make it, but it's the thought that counts.
No, it's not. It's the cherries that
I
count.
do wish that you didn't mention that just now because I want
You both
cherries
looked at
so
me
bad.
I'm so sorry. Well, I'll be up to Michigan again one day very soon.
How was the flora up there? What was it about? Was there just conifers and...
Conifers, big giant conifers. Their stuff is so much bigger than ours.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And you know their hostas are amazing.
I bet hostas would live in like full sun up there.
Oh yeah, most of them that I saw were planted in full sun. The first time I went up there, I was blown away by all the hosta in full sun.
You know, I went to Michigan as a kid because my dad's there, and I just remember the grass being the greenest grass on the planet. It was so good.
Yeah,
Was it the grass green?
the grass was green, but the water, yeah, I went to a beach wedding, was just crystal clear. It was incredible
Wow.
and cold.
What water was it?
The Great Lakes.
Yeah.
Which one, Tyler?
I don't know. What's the one to the left?
Was it Lake Superior? I don't know. No idea.
Oh, my gosh.
And then I
Caroline.
kept calling it the ocean. And
Lord.
my brother was making fun of me.
Tell me
Which,
you're from
fair
the South
enough.
without telling me you're from the South.
Well, it
Your
looked like an
geography
ocean. It was
skills.
huge. It did not look like a lake to me. There were waves.
They're called the Great Lakes for a reason.
I
know.
know, but my brain was just like, look at the ocean, because my job for the wedding was not to let my brother turn around until the bride was 20 feet away. So he was supposed to look at the water. So I kept being like, look at the ocean. And he was like, stop calling it the ocean.
That's funny.
But it was a great time. A lot of plants, a lot of beauty. Michigan is gorgeous.
Well, good. Glad you had a good time. Glad you're back safe, and now we're doing the intro.
Yes.
Yeah, that was Lake Michigan. Just
Okay.
confirming for y'all.
That makes sense.
Thanks, Tyler.
Yeah, thank you. Everyone listening was probably saying that.
Fun.
Well,
Fun
now you don't
stuff.
have to worry after you finish listening to podcasts.
That's right.
Get the info out of the way.
That's right. Y'all, it's turned hot. It's no more spring.
It's 150 degrees here in Tennessee today.
I mean, that about lines up. Whenever you'll be listening to this, it'll be almost summer.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
But today, what'd you say the heat
Heat index right now was reading 106 on our lot right now. That is brutal. Y'all, sweat is pouring out of me.
Yeah.
I just now heard some thunder, though, back in the distance. That's kind of how Middle Tennessee is. It's like, it'll probably have a pop-up thunderstorm at least somewhere almost every day. Whether or not you're lucky enough to get it, we'll see.
That's the Gulf South, I think, too. You know, that's the way that this is set up. Those afternoon thunderstorms really cool things down if you can get one in your area.
Yeah.
But then, right after they're done, the humidity comes
The
back.
sun
and
comes
it's
out.
like,
It gets
"Ugh."
yuck. It gets real gross out there.
It does. But plants are still looking good. I was just talking to a guest on the lot, actually, and he was like, he's a good gardener. I've been talking to him for a while. He's from Bowling Green. He comes down to shop with us. Thanks for that. And he grows a lot of boxwoods. He kind of fancy. I ain't gonna lie to you. He kind of fancy, like me.
No, boxwoods are fancy. And you are fancy, so.
Does he shape the boxwoods?
He does all sorts of stuff with boxwoods. He loves them.
Cool.
He loves his boxwoods. But he was just saying, he was like, do you think this is like the start of a drought? And I'm like, maybe.
Kind of sniffing about it.
It's sniffing about it.
But
It feels like it.
next week, though, we're due for some rain.
Okay.
At least some. It's fractions of an
Really?
inch. Yeah. I was looking at the long range, the 10-day.
Don't look at the 10-day.
It's going to change.
It means nothing.
It's a hint,
It is a hint. You're right.
a suggestion.
Maybe we'll get a lot of rain. My garden was looking fine when I got home, though.
Yeah. I mean, plants are still looking good.
We got enough moisture, and also the plants have had time to let their sails out, their little leaves, and green up. And I think that helps a lot, rather than when they're just leafing out. Then the heat hits, at least down here in the south, how it cranks earlier, and then they start wilting and looking rough.
Yeah.
So
But I have stuff blooming, looking great.
Oh,
A lot of stuff blooming around town. My list was long this week.
y'all, I just yesterday learned that, well, first of all, my Vitex is blooming. It's a chase tree.
Mine's not yet. It's close.
In Nashville, it's hot enough, I guess. Top to bottom, it's full sun too, blooming.
I bet
Man.
there's bees on it.
There are, but there is a bee that I have never seen before on it. And it's called a giant resin leaf cutter bee.
Oh, I love leafcutter bees. They're so cool.
But this one is not from America.
No.
Uh-oh.
It's from China and Japan.
Oh, invasive.
And it's invasive, but there has been a neutral ecological impact for them. They're
Good.
solitary. They don't sting unless, really, really provoked, so they're not angry. But it makes sense because the Vitex is naturalized or here in America, but it's for hundreds of years now. But it's originally from like China and Asia. So those bees were attracted to it. But so are the native bumblebees and carpenter bees and skippers and every single nectar-loving
Vitex is
insect.
covered in insects when it's in bloom.
Oh, yeah.
So-
always. Well, have you seen the effects of the leafcutter bee? They're really cool, perfectly, almost like surgical cuts it makes on leaves.
I don't know if that's happened yet.
Okay.
Watching
look for it.
videos of
My
them do
Vitex-
it is crazy.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So cool.
My Vitex looks perfect right now.
Good.
Like, it's exquisite. It's loaded with nectar. And I'm actually afraid when I go to cut my lawn in the front yard, like mowing so close to them because of how many bees are there. So I might have to mow before the sun comes up just to hedge that off.
So you don't get those bees. But y'all who are listening right now, if you don't have a Vitex, get you one.
It's worth growing.
I love mine. I didn't know about it till I started working here at the nursery, and Austin talked about them all the time. And then we got some little 1 gallons from Monrovia, straight species.
Yep.
I think, Tyler, that's what you have too, right?
Yep.
We both got one. Mine latched in. Mine's in partial sun, which is one of the reasons why it's not blooming just yet. It's all budded up.
I have one in
But
part and one in full.
It is a low maintenance, beautiful, great pollinator, like
Also,
tree.
in 2 years, Caroline, right? How much growth? Like feet?
A lot.
Insane.
Feet.
Like
Yeah.
5-6 feet of growth?
Yeah, like y'all, plants are expensive now. There is no reason to overbuy when it comes to a Vitex. Get you a little 1 gallon, stick it in the dirt, water it a few times, and it's going to grow. And like Tyler just said, it grows very fast. Save your money. Spend your more money on the things that grow slow, not the things that
on
grow
the
fast.
Japanese maple,
Yeah.
which I will never buy one ever again. Just kidding. I will one day.
Yeah, you will.
But I said it a couple weeks on the show. I was like, it's a good replacement for butterfly bush in a way.
It is a good replacement for crepe myrtle too. I think.
Yeah.
With a good blue color. I mean, it's actually pretty true blue. Like it's not purple. We play around with purple a lot, and we'll call a lot of purple stuff blue because we want blue in the gardening world. But Vitex is actually blue, which is kind of cool. You know what else I've noticed around town? We are seeing. I went to Nashville the other day, which is
What?
rare for me. I know. I went to that girl's
in
house.
the big city?
Yep, I went there. I don't like it. Don't like doing it, but I went there, and I went to a girl's house to identify a lot of her shrubs and plants and trees that she didn't know what they were. So I told her I'd come out and help. You know what I noticed a lot of in Nashville? The signs of the cicadas. So the cicadas are gone. Yep.
Okay, lay it on us.
They laid the eggs on them stems,
Yes.
and there was a ton of flagging brown stems that are like smaller than pencil-sized stems. Like they're smaller than that, but a lot of brown stems turning down, and that's the little bit of damage that happened to the tree. So that's kind of cool.
That
Yeah.
is cool.
But it didn't hurt the tree at all.
I've
Right.
heard that it takes up to 6 weeks for the eggs to hatch and the larva to fall out and burrow into the ground.
I'm assuming that like the limbs would probably fall first, and then like they would hatch, and they're just already on the ground.
That
Wouldn't you
could
think?
also happen too.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just
obviously.
the time period after is mainly what I was concerned with. So you probably, if you're seeing that, that's probably explaining that in your landscape.
Yep, that's what's going on.
Good to
Cicadas are
know.
gone. They were fun while they lasted.
They were. We never got any out at my house.
Nope, me neither.
I didn't see one. No sign.
Y'all are the lucky ones.
Nothing.
I will have mental scars again for the next 13 years.
I don't know how we didn't get any, but I'm fine with it. I think they're cute and I like them a lot. Now I don't have to have been mad at them for running into my head at my house because I didn't get them.
And folks in Illinois might still be experiencing them right now. As they were later. It was colder up there, and now that it's warmed up, it's going to swarm up.
That's
Nice
right.
Tyler.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, though.
Yeah.
You got anything going on in your beds at home?
Things are growing. I mean, things are looking good. Hydrangeas are blooming, which is great. What
Mine
else?
still aren't. My Limelight, my Quickfire are still.
What?
They still haven't bloomed
What's
yet.
up with you, late bloomer?
Quickfire's not blooming yet? My Quickfire is almost like to its pink stage.
No, mine's still, I mean, it's budded up, but it hasn't opened yet. It gets direct sun until about 1:30, 2
that's
o'clock.
plenty. I mean, that's similar to mine, too. I wonder why yours isn't blooming. It's so weird.
My oak leaf is turning pink.
Yeah.
Starting
No,
to.
my oak leaf bloomed. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's still in bloom, but it's been bloomed for a couple weeks.
Yep, the old pink, white to fading to pink is among us.
Yeah. You know what's crazy about this sudden heat and then rain stuff? Kind of stops growing. At least my grass has, like you're not getting any rain. You're not getting that regular juice.
My grass is growing. I got home and it's so tall.
Oh,
Mine's not horrible right now, but it's still growing. I
Yeah.
live kind of down in the bottom, though. So all the moisture that we've got this spring, like, it's all still sitting in the grass.
I mean,
They
you've got a
plenty of
good
water.
planting spot because it's so.
yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
you have really good soil, like the soil we used to read about in textbooks when I was in elementary school.
Oh, it's that good dirt.
Got the Nile River.
Austin.
It
soil.
ain't that good.
Austin's going to practically have an arboretum once his trees get grown in.
Oh,
can't
that's going to
wait.
be amazing.
They're
You'll have to
growing.
be given tours in 20 years.
I tell you what, my bald cypress right now, it's called Rise and Fall, y'all. It's a cool cultivar, and I was looking at it today, and it is just so interesting, and it's really starting to grow. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
Isn't it
those
that
are cool.
The needles grow up and the branches grow down? Is that
Yeah,
it?
it's like they come up and then they fall down, so it's got this weeping effect, but the stems still, like the individual, like leaflets still go up.
Yeah.
So like it's just a cool plant.
Seems like
y'all.
it's like electrified or something.
Yeah, it does. It's very hairy.
Yeah.
If you can find one, y'all, I'm telling you, it's worth growing.
We don't
it's
have
a
any,
cool
do we?
plant. Not right now, I don't think,
Yeah.
but they're worth
When
growing.
we got him in, I thought they were amazing. You and Ben Trest also has one,
Yep,
Twinsies.
who will be a guest on the show coming up real soon.
cool. Y'all
Yeah.
get to hear old Benny.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He's a goofball.
He is. He's a great goofball with a lot of knowledge.
We love him.
We do. Well, I guess let's go ahead and get into the broadcast. I can't wait to hear it, and I'm sure you guys can't either. So again, we have Adam Chapman on the show this week, sitting in for me, and you will hear David Bates and Josh Carey as well.
And us.
Of course.
Have fun.
Gardening feuds can get just
Oh,
as
man.
spicy,
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So
especially amongst this cast.
I wasn't here, so I didn't see the clip, but I'm going to throw my hat in the ring and say that Crossvine's better than Clematis.
Of
So
course.
Of
Adam, you're such the
I'm
mind
just
of
saying.
reason.
I mean, if you want something that's tough and is going to bloom forever in the summer and evergreen, I mean, come on, what are you talking about?
I know you're right, but the beauty you're Caroline right now. The beauty of clematis it just exceeds crossvine so
Hey,
much.
Look, I'm not
So
saying,
much.
I'm not saying Clematis is a terrible plant. I'm just saying that Crossvine is going to eat its lunch, is what I'm saying.
Okay,
I mean,
my take on it is that in the world of if you give a numerical value to a crossvine, perhaps it's only a 5, but it's a 5 all the time.
Yes.
Whereas a clematis can be a 10, but it
For
can
about
also
3
be
weeks.
a 1.
Yes.
So,
David, you're right.
A matter
You're
of
right.
I mean,
extremes.
But a 5 all the
is.
time is not for me.
that's mid,
well,
man.
I don't want a
Okay.
5 all the time. Okay, I want a 10 sometimes.
I mean, we can see,
Okay.
Austin, by your character. You're a 1 or a 10.
that's you're right.
All or nothing.
All or nothing, baby. All right.
From an email, when is the ideal time to give my established burning bushes a good cut and shape? Can I do it now or wait for cooler temperatures?
Anytime.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, right now, if it's big and it's overgrown, you can do it now.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to hurt a burning bush,
No.
especially an established one. You could literally cut it to the dirt and it's coming right back.
Yeah,
So,
but you could also put out the fire if you wait too long, right?
well, you can minimize your red in the fall. That's why we love burning bush. It goes beautiful red in the fall. It really does. But if it's too big and it's overgrowing the space, then it's certainly fine.
You just got to bite the bullet.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally, you would let it go brilliant red this fall, and then after it does that, drops its leaves, then you give it that hard cut back or whatever. That's ideal.
You cannot kill one.
No. You can't kill a burning bush.
No, they're very, very tough.
Euonymus.
Yep.
Coloratus?
No.
Alatus.
Alatus, yes.
Yep.
Which means winged. The winged euonymus.
Winged euonymus.
Yeah. Look at the stems. They have wings.
So if you have those, do you have to join the support group, David? You know which one I'm talking about?
The Euonymus Anonymous group.
Yeah.
If people have a real problem with Euonymus, I've heard it can be effective. But, it's one way to go.
It's first,
but
you got to admit the problem, though, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Most people just trim them.
Well,
there are a few. There's always a few.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, part of the problem is the fact that we have some euonymus in studio today for some reason.
I did that. You know what, Adam? It was just close.
In here.
It was hot yesterday. Like Josh said, about 2:30, I started to do this.
All right, I get it.
And I was done. I was beat.
Yeah, if it was out of necessity, I get it. But if you pick these on purpose,
just a massive green.
I know.
It's just a massive green.
That's true.
They're pretty.
And probably back in the day, a cultivar that preceded Manhattan. Before Pauli was one called Peyton's.
Wow.
Patens.
Omaha.
It was what I would call a semi-broadleaf.
Oh, okay.
And it was extremely winter hardy. You could not kill it. And that's part of the problem. but it would also drop its leaves most winters. So it was very effective, but it was the one that was available. I mean, I'm reaching way back. This is late 50s, early 60s. So it's been long out of production. I don't know. I doubt there's anyone growing it intentionally anywhere, but I'm sure it's unintentionally being grown somewhere.
Yes.
So, I never even heard of it.
Me either.
Very good. Now, Gary wants to know, and greets us. Good morning, Gary.
Hello, Gary.
My tomato plants have been looking great this year, but yesterday afternoon I was looking at them, and a few small branches on 2 or 3 of them looked like someone had sprayed Roundup on them.
No.
Just totally limp. I cut them off and got rid of them. I am sure no one sprayed Roundup to them. What could cause this? Thanks very much.
There's issues on lower leaves of tomatoes almost every single year. So, I mean, Roundup damage on tomatoes looks very weird. Like, that's the word. Funky, weird, gnarly growth. And it's not just on the bottom leaves. So what you did, Gary, was great by cutting off those leaves. Like, if it is fungal, if it's bacterial, whatever, you, minimize that by cutting off the funky leaves. Like, that's a good start. Keep an eye on it. If you didn't spray Roundup, then it's fine. It's probably just natural. If your plants look good, at least if 10% of your plant looks rough, then live with the 90% and cut off the 10. Like that's what we want to do first, and you've already done that. So good work there. Keep an eye on it. Just keep an eye on it. It could. So Roundup damage presents the same way as a virus within tomatoes. So keep an eye on it. If
watch the neighbors, keep them out of your yard,
and watch the topmost part of the growth. That's where we really are watching for disease on tomatoes, especially viral issues. If you're seeing damage from the topmost part of the plant, then that's when we need to worry and think about it a little bit more. But
yeah, usually the stuff on the bottom, like I've got yellow leaves and spots and stuff on the very bottom branches and leaves, but
just shedding off.
It's never a bad time of year to add Earth Mix to your garden. Earth Mix garden products are sustainably sourced, living soils and amendments crafted to give you the best success for your gardening efforts. Establishing a raised bed? Use Garden Premium Topsoil Blend for an excellent performing growing medium for flowers and vegetables. Amend your gardens with their supernatural compost, with all the nutrients needed to recharge existing soils. For houseplants, their Proganics Indoor Grow Mix is a fantastic potting medium that will feed for up to 6 months without the need for additional fertilizer. Earth Mix is sold only at independent garden centers, so head over to earthmix.net/find Earthmix to locate one near you. Success begins at the ground level when you use Earth Mix garden products.
Do we have time for
Absolutely.
some more questions, or do you?
We have a What's in Bloom with Austin.
Oh boy.
Hey, guys and gals, it's a perennial kind of blooming season.
Oh, boy.
It sure is. There's a million of them out there. You know what I'm going to start with? I'm going to start with daylily. It's been a daylily year. They are still blooming like crazy. They are fantastic. Hey, my alliums, the ornamental onions, y'all, they're just popping off. Looking good. About 75% bloom right now, and they'll be going for a while. Balloon flower, talked about that last week. That's always cute. The blue, you don't see blue very often, and that's pretty true blue. Hey, milkweed for all you monarch lovers, they're still popping off and have been for a while. Penstemon. Hey, what you know about penstemon?
I know that I love it.
I know. And it's great for the pollinators, and it's in bloom. It's got dark leaves. They're beautiful. Hey, agastache or agastache, however you want to say it. A bee magnet. Just an absolute bee magnet. Speaking of bees, bee balm. Bee balm. Still blooming. Still giving you powdery mildew. Yuck. Okay.
Not mine.
Well,
mine
you're
either.
lucky. You're lucky, Tyler. Okay.
Claire Grace, baby. Claire Grace.
The Oriental lilies, not the Asiatics, the Orientals, the ones that get taller. They're up like this tall. They tend to want to flop on you a little bit. Hey, they're looking good right now. They're not flopping that bad. We haven't had rain in a couple days, so they're up looking good. Shasta Daisy's still going, but kind of on their way out. Verbena bonariensis still blooming. Y'all, that plant blooms forever. It never stops. Echinacea, y'all, Echinacea still going, looking good. Okay, here it is. Black-eyed Susans.
Yes.
Can't stand them.
Love them.
Personally, can't stand them. But you know what? They're looking great. They're taking over.
My
All right.
maximas are 7 feet tall.
7 feet.
That's right.
Tyler. Cut those back.
No, that's the flowers at the very top.
All right, not my favorite at all, but hey,
Madman?
Nandina's blooming. The old shrub Nandina. You know what? Old school backbone. It's blooming right now. All of your hydrangeas, every one of them, all the way from oak leaf to Annabelle. And Annabelle's have been great this year.
They
Like I
have,
just
yeah.
talked about. We haven't had much rain since they've been in full bloom, so they are not flopping.
Yeah.
It has not been a floppy
Now,
year.
now, what they are doing is, if they're in too much sun, they're wilting.
They're wilting. They are doing that. Good point, Adam. Yes. So water your hydrangeas, especially if they're new. Y'all, if you buy hydrangeas from us, you water them. You're not going to overwater them.
The name of the plant means water.
Yes.
Plant.
Yes.
You have to, okay? And it's hydrangea season. I know y'all want to buy them, and we got plenty of them for you to buy, but you better water them or they're going to tank quickly. Okay, let's move on. Roses still going. Roses perpetually bloom for the most part. Elderberry still in bloom, starting to go to fruit. They're big, large weeds. Okay.
Fragrant.
Now, they are fragrant. Let's go to some trees. New one, Vitex. It's a shrubby tree.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
My
it is a
Vitex
tree.
is lit up.
Vitex is lit up. You're right,
and
Tyler.
Bead up.
I've
The
seen
bees
some,
love Vitex.
I've seen some golden rain trees blooming. I
was getting there, Adam.
Okay, sorry.
I got a question about that when we get
You got to
When
give
we
them,
get done,
you gotta
okay.
give them room.
Hey, Caroline, shout out if you're watching. Your mimosa's still blooming. I know you love it. Magnolia, still in bloom. God, magnolia never quits blooming. It seems like once it starts, it keeps going. And then, yes, Adam, the golden rain trees. God, I love them. God, I love them.
blowing up.
I just love them.
Except for the whole reseeding.
They reseed like crazy. You're right about that for sure. But gosh, they're worth a grow. I love those things. Crepe myrtle started last week. I'm going to be on that for a month or two. Sumac still going. Sumac, whatever. They just come up everywhere. Hey, last one that's beautiful that just started this week. Rose of Sharon.
There you go.
Hibiscus syriacus looking great. And then let's get to some other ones, some bulbous stuff, some annual stuff. Hey, sunflowers just started. I love the sunflowers when they're up and blooming. Cannas, callas, if you're lucky enough, calla lilies, if they come back for you, great, because that is a cool bloom. Super cool. Hey, shout out to the bulbs. Gladiolus just showed up. Hey, Melissa, if you're watching, I know you like gladiolus. They're looking great. Cool little
All
cut flower.
happy about the glads.
We're glad. And then Ben Tress brought in his dahlia today. Look at this. Look at this.
It's as big as your head.
It hides my face. This is Kelvin Floodlight Dahlia. It's the goat of dahlias. It's yellow. It's huge. It's fantastic. Ben said something about why fireflies love dahlias. What's up with that? I don't know. But that's cool. There's literally a firefly on it right now. And the last one.
What's on the other side?
Oh, the red ones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He just popped those in.
we have that one, I think, at the house. Yeah,
Super
It's
cute. And then the last one I'm going to talk about is petunias. And I'm going to say this. I usually don't use like weird colors when it comes to petunias. Okay, I'm a pink guy. I'm a white guy. Like when I am a white guy. When it comes to petunias, I don't go like
jump?
too weird. I can jump
Okay.
actually. It's one of my greatest qualities. I used black petunias this year, like straight black, not purple. They're black. I used them in my bed this year. Y'all, they are like shrubs.
Wow.
They are like shrubs. I should have got a picture. I didn't. I'm sorry, Tyler.
Shame.
But black
week.
petunias are worth growing, y'all. It's fantastic. So you know what? That's what's in bloom.
Yeah, the salt and pepper ones you had back there this year were awful pretty too. Oh gosh, they were pretty. No, my question about the golden rain tree. I'm going down the road with my bride, and I said, look at those golden rain trees. She said, that's not a golden rain tree. I'm pretty sure that's a golden rain tree. She said, no, golden rain trees are the ones that have like the little lanterns on them.
That's
A very common mistake. What are those?
no, that's the aftermath. That's what Adam was talking about. Those little lanterns. They look like little
the seed
habaneros, if you will,
Yeah, the
dangling from the
tomatillos,
tree, something like
like
that.
that?
Well, they hold the seeds.
Yeah.
Typically, I believe it's just 2 seeds that
Yeah.
sit inside of that husk.
And
There's going to be a bunch of them.
and
actually.
almost,
be a bunch.
almost every one of them germinates too.
Oh,
seems
yeah.
like, seems like anyway.
I know. I
They're
feel like
a
I
high
talked about
90 percentile germination
Yeah.
at least.
Oh,
Wow.
easy. I did a study on it in college. I did I had to do a thing, and I gathered 1,000 seeds, and I went and I did different stratification processes on the seeds or whatever, and with sulfuric acid.
Wow.
And still so many. I had something like 780 seedlings of golden rain trees, and I was like, what do I do with these? But it was awesome, and they just grow.
Okay, very
They're
cool.
beautiful.
Very cool. Alana wants to know. She says, "I planted 2 encore azaleas in early May in my front landscape. The moles have set up headquarters there. Would it be a good idea to pot them in larger containers and put them back in their spot until the moles move on and then replant? I do not want to lose the beautiful plants." Moles ain't going anywhere, girl.
No,
I don't.
the moles are an indication not of the plants necessarily, but you have grubs or whatever in the soil that earthworms they're looking
Night
for.
crawlers.
Yeah, so
Which is not always a bad thing. Like,
no.
it's kind of nice to have earthworms and night crawlers and all that in your soil. It's helpful, but it is annoying. Moles are super annoying.
Yeah.
But I wonder what the plants look like. Like, are they looking bad from the moles, or are
Moles
they
don't
kind
eat
of
roots.
okay?
It's the voles that get roots.
voles
right?
eat roots.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if repotting might be more stressful than just leaving them in. I mean, azaleas
I would
are
be
naturally slow to take.
Yeah.
So
I would be inclined to believe that would be the case if you, particularly this time of year, to be
Hot.
digging things up. Transplant shock is going to be much more. I mean, that's going to absolutely be detrimental. The moles possibly could be. So,
yeah.
playing the odds, I would say, don't be digging them up right now. All the moles do is swim through the dirt.
Right.
They literally
Aeration.
do that. They can swim through it. They're amazing little creatures, although disturbing from a turf standpoint because they just keep it destroyed all the time. So either embrace them or figure out a way to get rid of them. And there's no perfect way to do that. But there are a lot of imperfect ways, and all of them work somewhat.
Yep. And most of them have poison. So,
Or they're a trap of some type. Or
yeah,
they're
they don't work. Yeah,
sharp
I've
guillotine.
found that if you just leave them alone, they usually they
They
go
move
away.
on.
They go
They eat
away.
everything and then go on.
Yeah, they move on. So
And
Well,
I
they'll
think
eat all the available,
right.
and they do eat some grubs, but they mostly eat worms and night crawlers. And if they've eaten them out of your yard, they will move on to the neighbors. So that's what you can hope for. Is don't
it says
go ahead and let
follow-
them eat and get out of there, because they have to eat
constantly.
24 hours a day. They sleep for like little naps. They eat around the clock. I think literally it's 20 hours a day that they eat. So they have no ability to store fat. So, obviously I don't have that problem, but and I don't eat 20 hours a day. It just appears
You
that
don't
way.
have to.
No, don't have to. So,
In the follow-up, she says, any advice on getting chipmunks out of my flower beds? This is my first experience with these cute but highly annoying critters.
Get a cat.
Absolutely get a cat.
I will tell you this: the last 2 years we've had an outside cat, and I have had zero issues with squirrels, with chipmunks, with most birds. The only bird that is in my yard is you can take one guess, mockingbird.
Bird.
Because
they're
they don't
dive bombing the cat to get the hair off.
Yeah,
right?
they don't care.
Yeah.
So, but that's one thing about having an outside cat. Now, the other thing about it, the trade-off is he gets in my beds and does his business, and
Absolutely don't put the rodenticides out. Don't do any of that for those because it gets into the food chain. It's very, very, very.
What nature of the chipmunk damage is there?
They chew. The worst thing they dig and chew. They chew on bark. They can be a nuisance if there's enough of them.
Yeah. But if it's minimal, it's
just
nature.
Just leave it.
I mean, it's just like it's kind of like
they are
squirrels.
the
It's like,
cutest.
how do you get rid of squirrels? I don't know.
Yeah.
They are the cutest nuisance you'll ever have.
They are cute.
Ground squirrels with raisin stripes is what you used to call them, right?
Yeah.
And she says that thank you for all you do to encourage and help me in this fabulous, fickle, fun, frustrating world of gardening. I love your show and your beautiful garden center. I'm blessed to live so near Bates Nursery. Thank you, Lon.
Thank you so much. Super nice.
Alrighty. Another one. New Mugo pine is browning on the needles, but next to thriving pines. What's going on? What's going wrong? No, let me read this again. New Mugo pine is browning on the needles, but next to thriving pines. What's going wrong?
I think maybe they have other mugos that are doing okay.
Okay.
Or maybe pine trees.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's new.
Yeah.
Okay, so anything new is always going through that kind of stressful period a little bit. I mean, it's just kind of part of it. So, once again, what percentage? Well, are we talking 10%? Are we talking 90%? Is this thing tanking? Is it shutting down? Like,
are you leveling
badly?
Are we watering it a whole bunch?
We have to make sure we get water down to the root zone. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, the best way to water is to water thoroughly less often.
Yes.
So,
but deeply around
the
it.
needles, are the browning needle parts on top, or are they just bottom needles? If they're bottom needles,
that's shedding.
forget
That's kind of
about it,
normal shedding. Yeah.
They're pretty
but
tough.
the top, if you see that on top, then it's a problem. This is where, of course, having a photograph's handy. So that might be a little pertinent information you can impart on us to help us to give you a better diagnosis. But if it's bottom needles just shedding off, that's what you would never have pine straw if pines didn't shed.
That's
where
right.
it comes.
That's right. And sometimes you can go into that pine tree if like what David's saying, some of those needles are lower or whatever, literally go into the main trunk and just shake it. And like a lot of that will just drop off and then you don't see it anymore.
Right.
So, but like David said, we need to see, is it on the top? Is it on the bottom? In the middle?
Very good.
Yeah.
Gary had a follow-up comment. He says he's been working in earth mix worm castings around the tomato plants that he was having a problem with earlier.
Good for you.
Is it a good idea to keep doing this throughout the season? I believe that you are, but don't work them too hard.
Right.
Don't work them around those roots and get in there and damage those roots.
Right.
Yeah,
Top dress it and just
Top
let it
dress
go.
it once a month. Yeah.
Adding organic material, y'all, is never a bad idea.
No.
Never, especially worm casting. That's like black gold. I mean, that's that good stuff.
There are cultivation practices that can actually be damaging, and I have seen people who had particularly and they think they're doing a great thing. If you had a bed of azaleas, for instance, and you were wanting to work around them, you never want to till in around azaleas simply because they have, and I know that's not what the question is about, but it's an example of something that has very shallow roots. And if you're damaging those roots on the surface, which you're going to, even if you're only tilling an inch down, you're going to do damage to them. And that's going to, in fact, make their situation infinitely worse. You still get all the nutrition by top dressing and just allowing it to decompose and go into the soil. There's no cultivation that's necessary in order to get that nutrition in there.
Very good. Laurel wants to know, what is a timeline for growth and flowering for my newly planted Magnolia Royal Star? Any pruning guidelines, care tips, full sun, and happy Father's Day, guys. Thank you.
It blooms on old wood.
Yep.
So any pruning you want to do it now if you want to preserve and maybe hopefully get some new growth the rest of the summer to set new buds. So, I mean, you can prune in the winter if you want to do some heavy pruning, but you're going to lose a lot of blooms that way.
Yeah. So. Laurel, first off, love you. I'm glad you're listening this morning. And I saw that magnolia that you purchased. Me and Owen loaded it into your car a couple weeks ago. And that's just a young magnolia tree, and it looked happy and healthy. Don't do any pruning on that right now. I saw it. Like, it's good. It just needs to grow. And you're doing great. I've been meaning to call you. I'm so sorry. But let it be. Let that magnolia be. You know, some say there ain't no cure for the summertime blues. But we say Bates Nursery is. Located in Nashville, Tennessee, Bates Nursery and Garden Center is a separate world unto itself. They feature the widest variety of plants, including trees, shrubs, native plants, perennials, houseplants, and specimen evergreens. Their knowledgeable staff will assist you with any gardening needs, catering to any experience level. Open year-round, and Caroline, tell them how to get here.
Bates Nursery is located minutes from downtown Nashville off Briley Parkway, exit 19 in beautiful Whites Creek, Tennessee. You'll see it's worth the drive from anywhere. No time to visit the nursery? Shop online with delivery and pickup options available for the greater Middle Tennessee area at www.batesnursery.com.
So if you want to learn a lot about living and a little about love, visit Bates Nursery and Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want to say thank you, Annie, for viewing on YouTube from our urban homestead from Perth, Australia.
Perth.
Awesome.
All right.
Good day, mate.
Good,
Let's say good day. Well, it's good evening.
good evening from Perth, Australia.
Yeah, I have no clue what time it is there.
Yeah, and I would imagine they're almost in winter down there. Correct? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Coming up
to winter.
If it ever actually seems like winter there, I'm not convinced that it does.
Can we get earth mix down there?
If you're way south in Australia, perhaps.
Huh? That would be interesting. You have to be a container, though. I mean, we could probably hook that up. Okay.
Yeah.
We can make it happen. We can make anything happen.
Absolutely. All right, we might need to go rapid fire here, folks.
Let's go.
When and how to trim when and how to trim an indoor fiddly fig.
Oh. Y'all on your fiddle leaf figs. Once they get big, you top prune them, okay? So take them from the top and you shorten. Whenever you do this, make sure you give them plenty of light inside the home or even outside the home, as long as you get it acclimated to outside. But you just tip prune. It's really not that hard. Caroline will tell you, I've seen her literally clear cut every leaf off of a fiddle leaf fig and shorten it. And then within a couple weeks to a month, you see new growth, and it's going to be great.
Or it dies.
Or it's not going to die.
Oh, okay.
An established one's not going to die. It just needs light, and it needs to stay on the dry side. That's the problem.
I've heard that if you haven't killed a fiddle leaf fig, you're not a gardener.
I don't know if I've heard that.
Okay. All
right. What's next?
Impatiens in a window box filled out fast this year. Cut them back or start over?
Don't start over. I mean, no, cut them back. And impatiens have a way of getting bigger than what you think. I grow impatiens. What a great shade plant. Like deep shade, heavy bloomer, annual. Like really good plant and good for window boxes too. But if they're getting big, which they do,
yes,
even from a 4-pack, they can get big. Cut them in half. Yep. They're going to releaf. They're going to rebloom.
Yep.
And as the name suggests, a lot of people get antsy about what to do with them.
They get impatient.
Yes.
Impatience, right.
Okay.
So don't worry about cutting them back. And that not only applies to impatiens, to most annuals. They get a little leggy on you.
Seriously.
Just cut them back. Let them reflush. They'll be much nicer the second time.
You're so right.
Colin wants to know what's Adam's take on Black-Eyed Susan. And he's already covered his stance on clematis and crossvine. So.
Yeah.
Hey, Call.
Black-eyed Susans, they're good.
Are they too good?
Too good.
You know what I mean? Like,
I would say that if you stick with the medium to smaller varieties, at least for me, you're good. Like Becky or those real tall like native ones. They look a little too weedy to me. Like that, they look like something I would weed eat down.
Bush hog down.
Yeah. So
They're pretty when they're growing.
They are.
man.
They are. They certainly are.
Drift roses. Mine don't look so good, but thought they were indestructible. What do I do?
Well, I would imagine that for the majority of this spring has been really wet, really rainy. So even your really tough shrub roses are going to probably have some spots and stuff on them.
Make sure it's getting some good sunshine.
Yeah, they
too.
need full sun for sure.
Yeah. And you're so right, Adam. It's just been wet, and shrub roses stay close to the ground, and close to the ground is where fungal stuff happens. Like that's just how it does. So if you've got black spot, you can give them a cut back, give them a fertilize, prune any black spots. But you're with everybody on this one, okay? Middle Tennessee, it's been roses have been a little bit this year.
Everything's a little bit too moist this year. So really,
I think that's about to change.
right. I think so too. What are the brown spots on my zinnia leaves?
I think C,
Brown
previous
spots.
answer.
Yeah, see previous answer.
Fungal. It's fungal. It's been wet. Zinnias, Caroline.
Okay.
I love zinnias too.
I know.
Zinnias, man.
They're fine.
Flutterbys like them, man. I'm telling you, it's great. What soil mix do you recommend for raised beds in the sun with sedges, perennials, and shrubs?
Tell them, Adam.
Garden. Garden is the best one for really any raised bed. I mean, you can certainly modify it as you need if you're doing something fairly specific. But it sounds like what you've got, garden would be perfect. So
Still our best seller.
Yeah, and it has the most, the greatest ability to hold moisture.
Yep.
Because of the organic content that's in it and the amount of native soil that is also in there.
Let's see. What is best things for winter interest / evergreen?
well, we got one in the room with
Man, that's gorgeous.
cedar.
I mean, really all
Blue
the
Atlas.
conifers.
Yeah, any of the conifers.
Color bark Japanese maples.
Yes.
There's
Like
there's
Bihu.
Bihu,
That'd be good.
Sango
Wait.
Kaku.
Winterberry holly.
I was about to go there for a native option. Winterberry holly. Red berries over the winter for the birds. Hey,
red
poppin'.
red twig, yellow twig.
red twig dogwood.
Yep.
Even Itea in the wintertime, the stems are nice. And
But they never send you all the parts.
also-
those ideas never
That's
come.
true. You're right.
You're always leaving out a castle nut or something out of those,
Yes.
right?
Even blueberries stems are nice in the winter, and the buds and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So-
They
Adam
cover
is a blueberry lover, and y'all need to get on the blueberry train a little bit more, even for the ornamental part of your yard.
Well, I'm telling you, I have them as foundation plantings.
And why not?
And
Like, Beautiful
No reason
blooms,
not to.
followed by blueberries
Yep.
that are fantastic. Let's just be real. And then you get excellent fall color that persists for a long time, even past frost and freezes a lot of times. It can stick on. And then you got beautiful stems in the winter.
Yep.
Blueberries are
And
underused.
Then if you're lucky, you get blueberry
Blueberries.
muffins
Yeah.
that Adam makes because he's pretty awesome at it.
yeah,
And serviceberry muffins before that.
yes, before that.
So, that's some of the great attributes you can get from adding edible landscape elements to your landscape.
Yes.
Hellebores, baby.
Oh, yeah.
One more time. First
Oh,
one to
sure,
bloom.
definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. And oh my, question of the day: when is the threat of squash bugs past?
No.
Try to
Never.
plant seeds later in the season to avoid.
Never. I mean, I don't know.
No, I mean,
I've heard of people doing it earlier.
well, I mean, when we're in it, we're in it. Like, we're in it now, y'all. Like, squash bugs are and squash borers, which is the worst thing for squash because they take a plant. I mean, literally in a day, they can just wreck it. Squash bugs aren't as bad, but they still cause a lot of damage. So, scouting, you got to look for them. You got to help out. If you don't want to spray, which I'm kind of that guy, I'm not trying to spray in my garden much. I want the good bugs and the bad bugs.
Yep.
But with squash bugs, they can be really tricky. So you're not necessarily.
Pretty much have to remove the plant to deal with it. Do you not? I mean, there's
Squash
not really
pine
another-
borers, or the borers for sure.
Borers for sure. You got to just get rid of it. I mean, once it's happened, it's done. Yeah. Like, it takes the plant. Squash bugs, not quite as bad, but you're in it, y'all. We're in it. It's bug season. Get ready. It's happening.
This is not a squash bug, but yesterday I was walking around the garden and I found a tomato hornworm.
Yeah.
First one. So,
Oh yay!
Okay.
You left it at your house, right?
he's
gone.
the
He's
bits
long
of
gone.
him are at my house. Yes.
Yeah, baby. That's organic.
Very good.
Okay, well, happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. We
Thank
really
you.
To
appreciate
you too, sir.
tuning in
Thank you.
today, and to all those who make
Yes.
being a father such a great thing. We
Absolutely.
appreciate it to our children, to our wives, and
Yes.
to everyone who puts up with us.
Yeah, go see your daddy if you
Know who
can. I
you
sure
are.
wish I could. I tell you what. All righty, folks, that's it for Gardening Inside Out for this week. But next Saturday morning, we're going to come back and be here for another hour. Hey, thanks again for watching in Australia. Spread the word down there. We'll take care of you, mate. See you next week.
Australia.
Thank you for tuning into the Gardening Inside Out podcast. If you're looking for more information or more from your hosts, don't forget that we have a live Saturday morning broadcast, 8 a.m. Central Time on YouTube and Facebook. You can also follow us on our Instagram channel. That's @Gardening Inside Out for more posts, reels, and in-depth dives to topics and things we've discussed on the show. If our content resonates with you, consider giving us a follow, like, and subscription on all of our social media pages. See you next time.